we're going to start with some cars today. Let me move VTube Studio a little bit to the left here. We'll pull the bin at 40. We're going zoom zoom. Hello, Crasher. Welcome in. Yes, we are. And we're going to do it with some old school cars, some really cool old school cars. Let me pull up the window capture here. Make sure we've got the... Yeah, there we go. And then unhide it. Fit it to the screen. Let's see, the first video from Throttle House we're going to be starting out with. I'd recommend Forza Horizon 4 and 5 for decent racing games. I've actually played an older version of Forza. I think it was 3. And I always thought it was great fun. And I thought it was really cool that they got Jeremy Clarkson to voice the introduction to that. Now, what's going on in my model here? Both 4 and 5 are really fun. Much worth it, indeed. Okay, I think I'm... For some reason, the mouse is not wanting to cooperate. Hang on, everyone. We have to close down VTube Studio here for a moment. Then start it up again. Check, check, check. Check. Okay. I think that fixed it. Yeah, that's better. Must have been a problem with the calibration. Oh well. Anyway. This one's from Throttle House, which, by the way, if you're looking for some of that old school Top Gear energy, like what you found with the boys from Top Gear, Clarkson, Hammond, and May, Throttle House has managed to bottle up a little bit of that. It's not quite the same. Nothing's ever going to be the same as the lads, but the Throttle House boys, they come damn close. Anyway, these are the best cars they've ever driven. As we'll soon find out, the classics. Let's have a look.
Ready? Here we go.
Let's go. Come on, lads. Your eager fans await. Well, maybe not eager, but I mean, they're there, aren't they? Oh, there they go. Yeah.
James, I think we've made it. I didn't think we had any fans in the UK.
No, they do. We're international now.
Hell yeah.
They're definitely cheering for us.
Yep.
No, they're not. They're cheering for the hamster.
Okay, so for our 3 million subscriber special, thank you all for being part of the journey, by the way, we took ourselves and the team to the UK. We started at the Drive Tribe live event that you just saw, where yes, there was a stage, and yes, there was a Richard Hammond, as it turns out, and there were many awesome cars, and there was even a go-kart race where James and I had the privilege of losing horribly to the Stig himself, Mr. Ben Collins, and some other popular
No one
car
beats
folks.
a Stig.
But from there, we headed northwest into Wales in an Alpine A110. Video of that coming shortly. But our main goal was to drive something.
Whoa. No. You can't just pass over that. And it's like, yeah, we drove in an Alpine 110. And anyway, no. We've got to go back and have a look at. Oh, oh, oh! If the back end of that car was a woman, chat, dear Lord.
10 video of that coming short.
Oh, look at that! Oh, it's glorious. It's beautiful. I haven't seen anything that good looking since, gosh, whatever Lotus came out with last. Damn, that looks good. That is a cool looking car. I want to drive one. I want one so badly. I want to drive one. I want to go thrashing it about in the English countryside in a place like this. Yeah. God, that looks good. Quite a beautiful piece of work. Hell yeah.
Shortly, but our main goal was to drive something or some things even more desirable and more unattainable.
Even more?
Yes, a few hundred miles away, awaiting us already, was Thomas's dream car. Over any supercar or hypercar, for him, this is the car. One that he's thought about so much that at his own wedding, he accidentally said, "I, Thomas, take the Alfaholics GTA R290. Being near this car is a big enough deal for Thomas, but now, thanks to the generosity of the Alfaholics team, he had the keys to it and access to some twisty, beautiful Welsh roads. And even though the car was there in all of its resto mod high performance glory and the weather was perfect, Thomas apparently was having some performance issues.
Hey. Yeah. No, I'm fine. I'm building it up in my head, you know.
You've been building it up in your head for years.
I know. Okay, best way I can explain it so that you understand it is that one time I was in Italy with cameraman Dan over there, and we both ordered a plate of spaghetti carbonara.
Romantic.
And it was so good. The pasta was so sensationally good that he actually took his fork and he put it down. He looked at me and said, "You almost don't want to eat it."
Right.
See?
So if you drive this, it's eaten.
I've had that before. Like really good steak, for example. That just, holy hell, it just like practically melted in your mouth. And the presentation was just so beautiful that you almost didn't want to finish it. It was just like, this has to end soon. I don't want it to end. I just want it to go on forever and ever. But it's also one of those things that, you know, you just have to appreciate it in the moment. I found it with some very lovely, gentle, kind of light on the palate confections from Japan. God, there was that one place I went to that had that lobster bisque that was sublime. I mean, if that's your opener, and then capped it off with a filet mignon, had the most tender bacon wrapped around it. Like the tenderest bacon I had ever tasted. It was, yeah, I mean, moments like that, you never forget them. You truly never forget them.
It's the plate of pasta is done. It's like Christmas morning being over. Once it's over, it's over.
Right. Very poetic.
Yeah.
Very stupid.
Okay.
We've only got a couple of days.
No, I know.
Off you pop.
Yeah.
Time to drive the dream.
He's like, yeah, fuck your wax romanticism. Get in the car.
Be good.
So why exactly am I so nervous? Well, it's because this car, the Alfaholics GTAR 290, should be the perfect version of my perfect car. Because Alfaholics, a restoration modification powerhouse over here in the UK, takes what is one of the prettiest Alfa Romeos of all time.
It really
and
is.
my favorite Alfa Romeo, the GT Junior, and turns it into a modern homage to one of the coolest race cars ever, the GTA. So it should be, for me, the perfect car. Hence my trepidation in meeting my hero.
Yeah, you got to be careful when it comes to meeting your heroes. I and a lot of other people often say don't meet your heroes because you're just going to be disappointed. You know, certain people that I sort of hold up as icons in my mind, people that I look up to as heroes. And quite honestly, I hope I never meet them because I don't want that reality dashed. At the same time, I try not to lionize people too much as well because, yeah, that just, to me, that's just setting yourself up for disappointment. It's sort of like James May with the Lamborghini Countach. I mean, the Countach in the 1980s, that was the car that you had on posters in your bedroom as a kid. And yeah, they're not very good. Abed, hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Yeah, James May had a chance to drive a Lamborghini Countach, and he said, yeah, it was kind of cramped on the inside, even though it was an absolutely massive car. Rode a bit roughly. I don't think it had power steering. So trying to turn that big of a car was like trying to get a tank to turn round. Instead of head patter mode for the gentleman VTubers, we need a firm handshake emote. There's an idea. I'll have to reach out to Adorable Tuna about that one. Or maybe a high five. Oh, fist bump. Yeah, there we go. Fist bump. Maybe add in that little bit like what Baymax does, the ba-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, and another thing about the Countach. That rear window, it's like this little tiny slit of a window. And guess what you can see out of it? Absolutely nothing. Well, not absolutely nothing. You can see the rear spoiler, that massive big wing in the back. But that's it. Yeah, you're probably going to have to open up the scissor doors and, like put one of your feet out and almost back it up like you're trying to back up a motorbike. It was an ordeal. It was an ordeal, especially in some of the narrower roads in the United Kingdom where May was test driving that. Yeah, that was one of those instances. Was like, please don't meet your heroes. You're just going to be disappointed. I'm told the same thing about an icon of design, the DeLorean DMC-12. The Back to the Future car. Beautiful design for the car, and actually quite comfy on the interior. Unfortunately, they opted to use a 5-cylinder Volvo engine paired to a 3-speed automatic from General Motors. Yeah, it's not very good. It's gentle cruising car, but it's designed like a sports car. So yeah, that one was also a bit of a disappointment too. No, it's just one of those things that sometimes you just have to, I don't know, just don't meet your heroes no matter how much you want to. Anyway, let's go drive. Whoa! Whoa! Must have a Lady Chatterley crisis from that sound. Oh, listen to her purr. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Okay, let's take it easy. Just nice and slow, through a little town, keeping the revs chill.
Yeah. Watch out for the roses.
Just enjoy the whole experience of it, right?
Yeah.
Don't want to rush through this.
No.
And you know what? Kind of right off the bat here, this doesn't really feel that different to my Alfa Romeos. I've got a 1970 GT 1300 Junior, and I've got a 1972 Alpha Spider.
Oh.
And this...
Oh. Oh, That's the Dustin Hoffman graduate car. That's the one he's driving down the road to Simon and Garfunkel. You hear him singing about Cuckoo Cuckoo, Mrs. Robinson. I've seen some of those in person. And yeah. If only they were a bit more reliable, I would love to have one.
This, I don't know, it just kind of feels like a brand new version of that.
So we kind of have to ask ourselves, why does a
New
GTAR 290 built to the latest spec now cost some $550,000 US more than my old Alphas?
God! I'd love to know the answer to that myself. I'm sure you're going to tell us.
You see, the thing you have to realize is that this might look like one of my old Alfa Romeos, but it really isn't. Alfaholics has taken the car and stripped the whole thing down to nothing, acid dipped it, seam welded it, and then rebuilt it back up with specialty ultra lightweight components. Like suspension components underneath the car are billet titanium, and holes have been drilled where holes can be drilled to make it lighter.
Yeah, billet titanium. I don't think that was even discovered yet, and certainly was not cost effective enough to implement on the original version of this car. Yeah, so we're already off to a fairly advanced start.
It might look like an old Alfa Romeo, but it's quite a lot more than that.
Oh. Welcome to Wales, chat. It's beautiful out there. Mind the sheep. God damn, that sounds glorious.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh.
Yes. The ecstasy on the man's face.
Yes! I've been waiting so long to drive this car. As another example, that engine is a later twin spark unit. That means it's a twin cam, 2-valve per cylinder, fully race-built twin spark unit.
Oh my God.
It's making about 230 horsepower. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're in a car that weighs about 1,830 pounds,
yeah,
it's quite quick.
under 2,000 pounds, and you don't need a whole lot of horsepower.
It's just, oh, the noise! Oh my God, the throaty bark. It's got modern technology like an ECU running the whole thing, obviously. Fuel
Of
injection.
course. Yes.
It's got throttle bodies and an open intake. So the bark. Oh. And that gearbox. It feels like mine, but better in every way because every millimeter of it has been gone over. Everything is just so, everything is massless. Everything just feels so light to operate and use.
Yes.
But it's still got those characteristic Alfa Romeo long throws. And if you're still not convinced that this car should cost as much as it does, let me throw another example at you. The suspension component that holds all the other suspension components to the wheel, made out of billet titanium. You can buy one for your Alfa. It costs $14,000 US. Actually,
Jesus.
you can buy all of the billet titanium suspension components for your Alfa. But if you wanted those, you'd have to choose between them and a brand new Toyota Supra.
Jesus. That is, God, $500,000 for... I mean... it pains you to say it, but I mean, it's a rebuilt Alpha. I mean, yeah, it's sublime. It's a work of art. But let's be real. I mean, most of us don't exactly have $500,000 to toss around uh, on rebuilt classic cars, do we? Honestly, what the people really want is they want affordable. They want affordable cars first and foremost. You have to actually be able to afford the bloody things, but then they they want something that looks cool. And I mean, old Alphas like this, you don't get much cooler than this. Not by much. Something is missing in a lot of modern cars. Too many of them. They're all trying too hard to be like a Tesla with iPads in place of switches, um, and it's everything just sort of feeling sterile and cold and looking like a child's toy, or looking almost literally like a tank. Which some of them, like the Land Rover Defenders and the G classes and the what is it, the Enios or whatever that new one is. Yeah, fantastic cars, icons of the automobile industry. But man, Alfa Romeo, there's just something about those cars. There's passion, there is soul. There's also a lot of heartache in being an Alfa owner. It was said once that you cannot consider yourself a true petrolhead until you have owned an Alfa Romeo. Gosh. There's just something about those cars. There's an X factor or je ne sais quoi about them that nobody else has. And I don't think anyone else ever will have. The closest that anyone ever came to that was with Lancia. I don't know, it's just the Italian design. There's just something about Italian design in cars. It's just so sexy. Oh, oh, oh.
So, whoa.
Oh.
It's so playful. Oh my God.
You think you can fluster me so easily with your ada-adas? Oh, just play an Alfa Romeo motor revving at max RPM. Yeah, that's the one that gets me going. God Almighty.
It's just so communicative. Oh, the sensations of this car are distinctly Alfa Romeo. This feels like my Alfa Romeo if I were on a hardcore narcotic. And my biggest question
There's an image
that I've always had about this particular car is, what was the steering gonna be like? Because the steering in my Alphas, it's a steering box. It's not very good.
No, they're not.
But since the actual steering box has been made by Alfaholics out of billet aluminum, everything is stiff about it. So there's responsiveness to the steering. It's unassisted and it's heavy. And it's communicating every little nuance of the road to me. This is such a perfect car. Am I blushing? I feel like I'm blushing. A car's never made me blush before.
You look like you're about to weep tears of joy, man. I mean, honestly, he seems like he's just on the verge of, that scene in Ford versus Ferrari where Henry Ford II gets into the car with Kettle Shelby, and Shelby just thrashes it about. And Ford he's looks like he's about to have a panic attack or a heart attack. And then they come to a stop back at the hangar, and he just starts sobbing and blubbering like a little boy. And he's just like, I had no idea. I had no idea this is wonderful. That's what this man is going through right now.
This is the most fun I've ever had driving a car. Straight up. It's so sensational. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000.
7,000. That's cute. This revs to a little bit more than that.
All right, James, what you got for us? Whoa.
11,000 RPM. That's a bit more than Thomas's little Alpha. It's more than a 911 GT3 or a Lexus LFA. It's even more than a V12 Lamborghini Revuelto. In fact, the only things that rev the same or higher are multi-million-dollar hypercars. So yeah, Thomas's dream car has a nightmare, aptly named the 911K from Tuthill. It has the same lightweight philosophy as the Alpha. That is, this is a 1972 911 that has been completely rebuilt from the ground up, with its steel underpinnings complemented by carbon fiber body panels and very expensive titanium mechanical components, meaning it also weighs just over 1,800 pounds, except
Okay, that's beautiful, first of all. But yeah, once they start talking about replacing steel with aluminium and even more so with titanium and with carbon fiber, that shit gets expensive, chat. I'm sure some of you who are hobbyists who have had to work with materials like that, you know a thing or two about how expensive it can be. But my God, that's also lovely. That does not set your soul on fire like the Alpha. But damn, that looks good.
instead of a pithy 2-litre 4-cylinder with a horsepower figure in the low 200s, it has a 3.1-litre flat 6 pumping out 350 horsepower. That
350 horsepower in that thing. And let's go back and look at that, chat. This is an engine that is either partly made out of or encased in carbon fiber. Rather lovely looking carbon fiber too. In a sort of herringbone weave. Damn. There's some more carbon fiber down there. It's like every little bit they could think of that could save weight without sacrificing the structural integrity of the car. They swapped it out with carbon fiber.
flat 6 pumping out 350 horsepower. That is a significantly higher power to weight ratio than a modern day Turbo S.
Damn.
Also, unlike the GTA R, this dream machine is based on a 911. That means it's automatically better than anything else. Am I right, Richard?
Well, actually, no. I've always been more of a Alpha guy. It's the yeah, that's not mine. That's because it was just here. It's just a leaning on it.
Depending on that,
I just
dickhead.
vibe, just does something. Yep. What even is this?
It's cash. We talked about
It
this.
says Canada on it.
Yeah, it's Canadian money.
So what do you do with that?
It's worth some.
So
little
what?
bit.
Maple syrup? Is that a tape for the meats that I read?
It's like liquid gold, man.
What am I going to do with it?
Yeah, the UK,
Betrayed my
man!
integrity.
Give them
Get out.
pounds!
Am I gonna...
Well, I think this is pretty cool. And there's no better way to shut up the haters than just drive the thing.
He says he's lurched back into his seat. You're all right there,
It's
James.
hard to put into words quite how intense this experience is. Within 1 minute of driving it, I'm shaking, my mouth has gone dry, and I feel hot. This thing is, whatever it looks like, it is a 918 Spider hiding in a 70s body.
It is. Oh, it's glorious. That is a glorious car. But I think there's a definite difference between the two. The Alpha that we saw earlier, that is your impassioned Italian mistress that you go off to see on the weekends, and you have the most impassioned and the most memorable sex in your hotel room all weekend long. You don't go out of the hotel room except to perhaps order room service. You don't get up out of the bed except to order room service or to go to the bathroom or something like that. And, flushing sound, come out of the loo, flip over and go back in for thirds or fourths. And then you've got the 911K from Tuthill. That's your German mistress that you go to on the weekends, who, actually, she's not so much your mistress as she is your dominatrix, who binds and gags you on all sorts of ropes and leather and chains and just beats and whips you for the full weekend. And so, yeah, you're probably going to have some fun if you're into that sort of thing. But come Monday morning, yeah, you're in long sleeves in the middle of summer because you're having to cover up all the bruising and everything else, and probably no amount of aftercare is going to cut it. Oh Lord!
I've got so much grip generating at the back that I literally just have to hold on for dear life, drop a gear, and straight up disappear into the distance.
Yeah, that car is like so many other German performance cars. It is actively trying to kill you. Same for a lot of Mercedes AMGs. You could probably say the same thing for a lot of Audi RSs out there. These cars, there is no in-between with them. They are either at 0 or they go straight to 200. Nothing in between. And yeah, they will go from just like dead quiet asleep to just, okay, how do we kill the unlucky bloke who's in the driver's seat?
That is absolutely incredible. It's only when you drive a car like this that you can find out how many faces you're able to actually make. Don't get me wrong, the
On your knees and beg for it from mummy.
Alpha is no slouch, and it is born from a world of racing. But the Tuthill is from the minds of people who go rallying. Ergo, people who have lost their marbles so officially it's been certified by a notary. And though this 911K doesn't produce enough of a flame from its exhaust to burn its own bumper, like you may have seen from an earlier state of tune elsewhere, it apparently can still make some that can be seen at night. But perhaps more importantly,
Damn.
it still has the personality of a superbike.
Another thing to remember, chat, these cars are also a lot smaller than the modern versions. because they didn't have so many safety standards they had to adhere to. So this actually is a fairly small, light, compact sports car. Even without the roll cage in the back, 2 people are not going to fit comfortably back there. Compared to a modern 911, that thing is so damn stretched out, it almost looks like it should be a 4-door saloon car.
I spoke to Richard Tuthill, the creator. He said when standing next to this car that oftentimes you get out of a car and you wonder why it's special, and then you weigh it. And I absolutely love that quote, and when he said that on the release of this car, I posted that as an Instagram story, because the lightness is, I would say it's everything, but paired with this engine, it is a hypercar experience. This really, I'm not kidding, this really feels like a 918 Spider. And suddenly, the money starts to make sense, because there is no new car that I've driven that doesn't have a hypercar status that creates this level of sensation. This just looks like a normal old Porsche.
It does. It's a sleeper.
How is it able to do that?
It's a sleeper.
The answer is, this is sort of the only standard piece of kit in this entire engine bay. The rest has been made with cutting-edge, modern science and materials. Apart from this. This is flax carbon. And I asked Mr. Tuthill what that's made
that's
of.
what that
and he
is.
said, and I quote, corn and shit. So...
That makes sense, the brown colour and everything, yeah. Oh, what you make a carbon fibre out of? Oh, corn and shit.
We've established it can do the crazy numbers, but I think a bigger question is, how long is that going to last? Because most engines that hit 11,000 RPM do it once when you money shift from 5th gear to 1st gear. So I asked him about that too, and he said, don't worry, if there's an issue, call me. And if that's not enough, from the man who put his own name to this car,
all right.
He also said, it comes with a little bag of fuses.
Oh, how lovely. You get a free bag of fuses with it. And if it breaks, just give him a call. I'm sure for the right price he'll fix it. These cars, these sorts of cars, I don't think they come with any sort of warranty. They're sort of, you're buying it as is. That's my suspicion. But then again, if you've got enough money to afford a $500,000 Alpha or a Porsche 911K from Tuthill, yeah, you're probably not going to worry about having to replace an entire engine. You've got the funds. You're good.
And did you notice how clean that engine bay was? There's literally nothing else in there.
No, that's fresh.
Okay, now I'm going to the hills, and I've realized that one of my favorite things is actually 4th gear, because you just get this deep thrum.
Yeah, that's a good sound.
And there's still so much torque, thanks to that 3.1 litre. The shifter looks a bit like a pimp cane, but with the amount that this car has messed up my mascara, I don't feel like a pimp, I feel like a $3 whore.
Yes, Dommy Mommy
Now,
is
this
going
is the era of
to make
911,
you feel that way.
Where the level at which the weight is over the rear meant that it loved to swap sides. So I'm going to try and be a little bit careful, because I have enough humility to know that this car can do things well beyond my skill level. The steering is so light, because it's not a 911K thing, it's the 911 thing from this era. There is no weight over those front wheels. There's no power steering.
No. Well, it's so light you don't even need it. Honestly, if it had power steering, it would be too light.
This is an exquisite vehicle. Drive it softly, and it is a beautiful specimen of a 911 from this era. Drive it hard, and it becomes a hypercar in terms of thrills. I don't know what bigger compliment I can give to a car than that. If I accidentally do hit a sheep, it will be like being killed by Excalibur. That sheep will go straight to Valhalla or something. It can be scary though. It can be scary. I'm so aware of the weight balance here. On and off throttle. The skill floor to drive this is surprisingly lower than you would think. But the skill ceiling is atmospheric.
That's the other thing with hypercars and with specialty sports cars like this. As you may have noticed, manual transmission. I think that was like 5 or 6 on the floor. No power steering, and no sort of electronic aids or anything like that. You are one with the road. That means, chat, you have to know what you're doing. There's at least a bare minimum of what you need to know as a performance type driver in order to drive one of these cars, especially like that. Now, cruising around, that's another thing. But if you're wanting to show off in this car, if you're really wanting to put it through its paces, you've got to know what you're going to do, what you're doing. Otherwise, you are just going to go careening off the road and into the field. And probably into a flock of sheep. And assuming that you live through all of that, you're basically going to have nicked your $500,000 car and have to send it off to the works to be mended.
You can drive this for 5 years and still have more to learn about it. No question, this is one of the most special cars I've ever driven. There's so much feedback coming through the wheel as well, look. Communicates everything. This car's ability to be so delicate, but also so fatal if you drive it like a moron. It's like going to a sushi place and having one of those really high-end pufferfish, poisonous fish things. If you do it wrong, it will kill you.
Yep.
But do it right. And it's an experience that no one else on Earth is experiencing in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really need to go to Wales. I need to get back to Wales.
That's an insane car.
Unfathomable. That's my one word.
That's a good word. I like that one.
I hope that this video does a good enough job of showing just how much the exterior of this car does not match the experience.
No, so I drove it, and it's utterly, disgustingly terrifying. It is. It's so visceral. It's so violent. It's insane.
I don't know what I expected. I knew that a high red line would be fun, but I didn't expect the power and the speed.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, I'm waiting for the noise, but it's a lot more than noise. There's like, it screams at you.
It does.
Yeah, you put your foot down, you hear a scream, you realize it's you screaming, and then there's an engine behind you.
It raises the anxiety in you when you hear someone scream.
Yes.
This fills me with.
Again, the Porsche is a dominatrix. The Alfa is an Italian mistress. It's different things for different people, depending on their needs.
Warmth, even though it doesn't touch that level of performance. There's something fuzzy about this in a very nice way.
It's just so wonderful, isn't it?
A big, cuddly Italian bear.
I love it so much. I love it more now than before I had a chance to drive it.
This is a big 2 days for Thomas.
This is seriously a big 2 days. But both of these cars do such a good job of driving like normal versions of themselves. This drives like a perfect classic Alfa Romeo. This drives like a perfect classic Porsche. And then there's more available, a lot more.
That image right there. This is, God almighty, that's beautiful. This is an experience of a lifetime that they've both been through. Driving through Welsh roads in just icons of automobiles. I envy these two. I wish I could do something like that. I honestly hope I do before the UK goes even more batshit insane than it already has and decides to completely ban all combustion engine cars altogether. And, you know, one last hurrah in real cars.
More performance and excitement.
So you know, to an enthusiast's eye, what betrays that? How does one know? Because on the 911, this looks like a normal 911.
Yeah.
And then you start to see signs.
Yes.
Like this logo.
The carbon fiber is squeaking through.
Yeah, and even on the wheels.
Yep,
to suggest
they're
that it's
carbon fiber as well.
And the roll cage. And then
Yep.
you're like, But I don't think the 911K logo, to those who don't know, that doesn't look like anything. It's not gold, it's not red.
That's why it's so perfect. Because it makes you go like, oh,
It's
the
subtle.
K. I don't remember the K. What trim is that? That's what that looks like. It's the most subtle, like the exterior versus the interior experience is so different in this car more than anything I've ever driven.
What about the Alpha? This, because you got a GT Junior.
I do have a GT Junior, but I have a flat nose. This is a step nose. I have a later car. This is an earlier car.
Yeah, this one's constantly got the bonnet open.
No, it's not open. This is the step nose. It's the famous bit. The headlights are a little bit further in. And, well, there's a reason for that because it opens this way. So if you want to go click that thingy over there.
That's cool.
Yeah. See, it's not open. It opens this way because the Italians knew that they weren't going to be able to properly engineer a hood latch so that the hood would stay closed on the highway. And here we are. There you go. Beautiful twin-spark engine.
Very pretty, very
Yep,
clean.
yep.
Doesn't come close to the engine in the 911.
Whoa!
The engine in the 911.
No.
It
Hang
looks
on.
fine.
No.
It is
Fighting
an
words.
It's made of corn and shit.
Bit of corn and shit.
Quote.
Corn and shit.
Yeah,
you got
no, this
corn
is-
in the
this is
engine,
just such
mate.
a beautiful car. And it does have to be said that the quality, like the build quality of both of these vehicles is so like the paint. It's like mirror finish.
Yeah,
It's
this
perfect.
looks like a liquid paint.
Yeah.
And as does that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why we get in $300,000-$400,000 vehicles and it's just gone. It's just an
It's
orange.
just crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fruit bowl of orange peel.
These are the race car handles. So Alfaholics made these. And it's got 15-inch versions of the 14-inch GTA wheels. So you can fit modern rubber. It's perfect. It's
I
subtle.
love those. I love those. Those old style wheels. Just, can we bring that back, please? Honestly, I think about the peak level of madness that was still acceptable was the old style wheels that BBS was making. Everything else that they started coming out with in the 2000s and whatever, around that time, things just started, they went absolutely mad. Can we please just return to sanity and understatement in car design? I would really appreciate it if we could do that.
And classy.
Which one's better looking?
I can't answer this. No, this one. I
I
can't
think,
answer that.
I
It's this
think
one.
you're either like Die Hard. Like, that is an iconic shape in a way that this can no longer touch because it carried on.
no.
This didn't have the balls to carry on.
No. Didn't need to.
I
It's
think
perfect the way it is.
I
Didn't need to
think
change.
I think this is more special looking
Yeah.
as a result.
There's a lot of those. There's a
There's
lot of those cars.
There's a lot, but
Right?
now, but that is part of that charm. Is it fits in, and I haven't driven the other ones. I haven't driven a Gunther Works. I haven't driven a Singer. I don't know how they get.
I don't know how it gets better than that.
Yeah.
I don't honestly. That's such a sensation.
There's so many of these that are still on the road and still, just no matter what the year is, no matter what generation of 911, they're still out there. I mean, that's both a blessing and a curse. The good news is they're still out on the road. And there's so many of them. The bad news is There's still so many of them, and that just, I don't know, that impacts perception and value and things like that. It just, yeah, it's slightly more obtainable compared to the Alpha, which has got a lot more of that unobtainium factor. Serenity, welcome in. Good to see you. We're just looking at sexy cars, and I keep getting flustered and having Lady Chatterley crises every time they rev an Alfa Romeo engine.
Vehicle, both of these are. It's just, what a day, seriously.
All right, let me show you the inside, because
Okay.
that's really why it costs a couple of dollars more than the
Sorry,
Alpha.
how much more?
Couple of dollars more.
How much more?
Ha 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 ha. Alfaholics is, God, $600,000 for that Alpha. Jesus. Ah, yes, cars are very sexy indeed. Especially these two examples that we're looking at here.
Twice the price.
Almost twice.
It's twice the
almost
price.
twice the price.
Okay, and you don't.
Oh my God! That Porsche is over $1 million. Yeah, that thing's not only a dominatrix, they're doing Findom at that point. Jesus. Old muscle cars have my heart. There's a lot of excellent old muscle cars out there. But yeah, we've come up with a comparison that the Alfa Romeo that they're showing here is like the Italian lover or mistress that you never forget, and probably spend a weekend having just non-stop sex with them. And then the Tuthill Porsche 911 that we've got here, it just goes from 0 to 11 in no time flat. And yeah, it treats you like a dominatrix treats their sub in just the in some ways in the most vile manner possible. And yeah, the 911 actually costs over $1 million, so we've got an element of Findom going on here.
Don't get twice the revs, do you?
No.
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 Nice door close, isn't it?
Interesting door handles, though. So the bottom half of the lever opens,
Yes.
and the top half of the lever, you need to use it to close.
Very simple.
It is.
And effective.
Until you open the door to like shout to someone and say you forget something.
Yeah.
And then you're still holding this, and if you try and close it with the open
It
handle,
just won't close.
It won't close.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everything's about like ultra minimalism in here,
Huh.
right? Like, you know, look at this milled
That
piece
could have been
for the-
thought
for the
out
win-
a little bit
window-
better, I think.
What are they called? Window winders. Jeez, how young am I?
Is it called a window winder?
I don't know. What's the window winder handle called? The official name.
These cars have knocked us out.
Yeah, we're
Manual
exhausted, seriously.
windows.
First of all, this is beautiful.
Stunning.
Like, everything is exquisite.
That steering wheel looks like it came out of a muscle car. Honestly, that looks like it came out of an old Camaro or a Dodge Challenger or something. Especially the way it's angled and everything. And the carbon fiber, that's a nice touch. The steering wheel's sexy. That is a sexy steering wheel.
The craftsmanship is as good as it gets.
But also cozy. This sort of black.
Yeah, it's like corduroy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice, and it continues along
On the
here.
dash,
Corduroy
Like, the
seats.
key is like this beautiful little like
That's titanium.
titanium. That
God, can you imagine getting a replacement key for that car? It cost you a fortune.
is so nice.
I feel like they
right?
could have branded it though.
No, it doesn't need to. Keep it simple. It doesn't even have it has a Porsche badge.
Yeah. So I think this is supposed to be an RSR style
Yes.
steering wheel.
That's right.
It's the four-spoke's interesting. I'm not sure where I stand on it.
I don't think it even has
I think it's really
aircon.
nice to look at. I really
Oh,
enjoy
a
it. So is
heater.
the gear shifter. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
The reverse. I actually haven't spoken about the reverse yet, but they've put the 6 speeds into the gearbox, and there wasn't room for reverse, so he's put a reverse lever. This was the heater lever.
Oh, I see.
And now it's the reverse
Okay.
lever. So you have to, it's kind of scary because you have to go into neutral and then pull the reverse lever up.
And you can technically have like first and reversed engaged at the same time.
I haven't done that.
I don't know what would happen. You just stay where you are.
I haven't messed
Or
it
you
up.
just like pull yourself apart.
Or is it like a money shift?
How does it work? Anyway, roll bar's beautiful, trimmed in leather.
Yeah, these
Ceiling,
seats.
trimmed in leather.
Ultra lightweight seats,
Yeah.
carbon fiber. And then the gauge cluster. The
More
gauge cluster
carbon
that they've
fiber.
chosen to show one of the highest revving cars ever. I kind of wish it revved smoothly. I don't know if they're going to change that.
Oh, the way that the actual needle moves?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Like,
It's
it's
jittery.
extremely expensive. Actually, you know what? It's not, because you're paying however much they charge you for an engine. The car's free.
Yeah, like name.
That's how it feels.
But just name a car that's cheaper
Okay,
that gives you that
Corolla.
experience.
I mean,
No, there's nothing. There's honestly nothing. Nothing gives you this experience, because this is the most unique experience in a vehicle I think I've ever had.
Yeah.
Right?
Thomas's mind has been blown by this car.
It is truly shocking, this car.
Every time I've driven him in it off camera, he's sort of like, you know those energy balls that when you put your finger on the edge of the globe and it goes there? That's been Thomas inside this car.
Yeah. That is so accurate. Oh my god.
And that's worth £850,000.
It's terrifying. That is exactly what I've been doing. It's so scary, James. It's so scary.
yes, again, this car is trying to kill you.
Okay, anyway.
That's kind of it.
Should we take a look at the Alpha?
Yeah, I think they could have had more fun with the pedal box. I think that's one of my other.
Let me show you some
Nah.
pedals.
I gave you that segue.
Those are some pedals.
Those are some pedals.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can
That's
buy everything
nice.
individually, can't you?
Yes, that's the whole idea with Alfaholics,
So
right?
how much are the pedals?
They're £1,000. But don't worry about that.
How much
Oh
do you
my
want those
God.
So much I'm going to buy them.
£1,000 for a pair of... Oh my
How much
God.
do you want those pedals? in your
So
outfit?
much I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy them.
And he did. That face.
So the
Jesus.
whole idea with Alfaholics is
He-
they're not shoehorning.
That is the face of a man who has just... He's like, yeah, okay, I will sell my soul for this Alfa Romeo. This is the I have sold my soul. I have sold my soul. I have handed over my dignity. And this was my 30 pieces of silver. It was a pair of bloody Alfa Romeo pedals.
So the whole idea with Alfaholics is they're not shoehorning you in. Shoehorning you? No, they're not.
There's
They're
a thought.
shoehorning you.
Hello.
They're not shoehorning you.
Hey,
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. They're not shoehorning you into buying a GTA R290. You can build your own version of
It's
the
not exactly
car.
under duress.
I feel like Rex needs a script of him working on a car. I mean, they do have a car mechanic simulator game. I wonder if I should give that a try. Be the closest thing to making something up on the fly.
Though, is it? Because if you build your own version, you don't get a GTL 290, and the GTL 290 is one of the most desirable cars in the world, if not the most, according to this man next to me.
No, it is, but I don't have this many £100,000 to spend. So I have to build my own, and they'll support that. All the parts that you can put on one of these cars, you can buy and put on your Alpha. Right?
It's nicely outfitted in here.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's simple like the 911 is, though.
Yeah, well, it is. This is very much like kind of like a track car spec build, right? This has got a full roll cage. It's got the Alcantara, right? These are, I think they're Recaros, and they've been.
They certainly look like Ricardos. Those of you who know nothing about cars, Ricardo is famous for creating racing-style bucket seats like what we see here, including the fully strapped-in seatbelt system where you've got double belts and you have to kind of latch everything in the center because otherwise, standard safety belts are not going to hold you in the are not going to hold you into the seat. That you just it's too it's too fast. It's too powerful. You'd get thrown out of the seat easily.
Retrimmed in a custom leather, just like the door panels, which the doors are so light, by the way, in both of these cars. Like, what, 4 pounds?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
2 kilograms, so just over 4 pounds.
Yeah, but the thing about Alfaholics is that, and well, any of these resto modders, is that you can do whatever you want. If you want a pink interior, they might scoff at it, but you could do it.
I don't know if there is. I know there's 100 shades.
Okay, maybe there is in pink.
I like this shifter.
The shifter's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the throws are massive. I don't know. This is obviously an incredibly stunning vehicle, but this is more of a demonstrator car for all of Alfaholics' performance parts, right? Some of the more recent builds are even fancier inside.
Yeah, because that goes back to our question
That's beautiful. I don't know if that's exactly my style, but I rather like that.
before is what happens when you spend more. I don't think that there is more in the Alpha world, but there is definitely more you can spend somehow in the 911 world.
I don't understand where it goes from there. I do not comprehend.
That just means
it,
I'm
honestly.
curious to
I'm
find
so
out.
curious to find out, yeah.
But
this is peak Alpha for me.
I was going to say the biggest thing today is you just drove the dream car you've mentioned in pretty much every sofa chat we've ever discussed, and
Yeah.
any video to do with Alpha.
Yes. And it has completely exceeded my expectations in every single way.
Isn't that nice?
There you go.
And I suppose it should, for that much money. But the thing is,
Yeah, damn
you
well
aren't
better.
just paying for what is essentially a more than perfect Alfa Romeo GTA. You are paying for exclusivity. They only make a couple of these a year, and right now the wait list is 10 years long.
Oh
which
my
means for now,
God.
they've stopped taking orders. So for the lucky few that get to own one of these, I envy you. Because it's, for me anyway, the most desirable car on this planet.
But the 911K is the most insane, or at least unassumingly insane. Yes, these are unattainable by everyone. The number of people that can afford them are a rounding error, and even for them, only 33 units of the 911K are going to be made. But despite how stupidly unreachable these resto mod reimagining things are, we can't shake that every time we try one, it tells us that if we won the lottery tomorrow and had to only buy one special car, we'd kick aside any of the supercars, and our first port of call would be to line up all of the resto mods at the top of a mountain, somewhere that has a 12-hour-long sunset, and have the best shopping day of all time. Until that day, we'll do what we can to showcase them on your TV screen. And if by chance you've been watching this on the toilet, then, mate, come on. It's been half an hour. Thanks for watching.
Been even longer because we've been reacting to it. Max Andrew and the Alfaholics team, okay. Got that cheeky grin, he knew what he was doing. Richard Tuthill and Tuthill Porsche. Drive Tribe, founded by the lads from Top Gear. Richard Hammond, the hamster. Well done. And then all the subscribers. Thank you, subscribers. That's fantastic. Let's see. I'm not sure how to top that. Honestly, it seems as though we could talk about watches and other things, but damn, I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Yeah, you know what? We'll just stop it there. We'll get to all of this another time. Yeah, nothing can top a sexy car. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you have any thoughts, questions, or ideas for future videos, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. You can also follow me on Twitter @LordRexworth for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. And if you want to support the channel, check out my Coffee or Throne pages. Links are in the description. Finally, be sure to visit LordRexworth.com and follow me across all platforms. That's LordRexworth.com. Until next time, I wish you all the best, and God bless.